Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Today we began class by answering a quick warm-up. There is a link in your Google Classroom. Okay, the questions asked us to think about the central idea in the text from My Life with the Chimpanzees. The second question asks which sentence in the text best supports the answer of part A. So which of these best help us reason why we chose the one up here? Okay, we went through the answers as a class. I will not go ahead and give the answers in this video in case you have not yet finished that. All right, today we also paused to help those students who were not able to finish the test or to take the test from Tuesday. This is the district test now. All right, our diagnostic test will be available today for those who did not get a chance to finish. If you're watching this video and did not attend class, please do not attempt to finish that on your own. You do require a teacher to be live with you to see the other side of the screen, okay? So either the school will contact you for another test date or we will just take your score as it is, okay? We will notify you on that decision. Okay, the rest of the class did break off into small groups after we reviewed our warm-up. Okay, our objective is I will determine central and supporting ideas to write an objective summary of the text. So yesterday for our independent practice, we illustrated our summary in 3 cells, right? So today we're going to break off into groups to take a look at those and see how well did we depict our central ideas. Did we miss a few things? Maybe we got caught up with the smaller details and forgot about the larger ones. Today we want to think about that so that using that feedback that we get from our peers and reflecting on our own work in the picture that we did, we're going to think about how we can write best now that we're going to start writing our summary. Okay, so as noted, we began by doing a quick gallery walk. So within our groups, we took turns sharing our screen to show our project, explaining why we did things in each cell, and then we received feedback. Okay, before we did that, we just made sure to review what consists of a summary. So what is it made out of? So a summary communicates a central idea in the text in your own words. Own words is key, right? We cannot copy from the text. Okay, so aside from stating the central idea, we include significant details. Again, significant are important or relevant details that are essential to understanding the idea. Okay, we also need to make sure it tracks our details from the beginning, middle, and end of the story, right? Not just focus on the one part or the other. And we also wanted to make sure that there are no biased comments. That includes giving your opinion or judging Jane Goodall, for example. So you need to stay unbiased. So whenever you read the back part of a book, like the summary and the back cover, you normally don't see an opinion on there if it's a summary, right? You might see a rating from different book companies, but that's different from a summary, right? So make sure you do not give your opinion for your summary. We also reviewed on how to keep ourselves accountable when we're giving feedback to our peers. Remember, we cannot say, well, I liked yours better than his, right? Or I think she did a better job than he did. Okay, so do not say that, right? Because that's being rude and you're also not giving feedback. That doesn't help your peers at all. So remember, you could say, can you say more? Why did you choose to say this detail? Or I like what you did here or what you said here because, and then explain it, right? Or I'm not sure I agree with this scene because maybe you forgot this detail or something, or have you thought about adding this detail, right? And remember, we are not going to edit our cartoons. What we're going to do is take that feedback and be able to apply it to a written summary now so that we can make a better summary. All right, so we went ahead and separated out into breakout rooms after this slide. I saw a lot of great conversations between your peers. Most of us did an awesome job establishing the main details, like the setting, the characters. We had very good expressions, right? So Jane Goodall looked confused or worried that she couldn't find the chimpanzees. You guys all did a wonderful job with that. And I did see how some of us maybe didn't reach the end. Maybe we stopped where she found the chimpanzees and made those observations, but we forgot to say what happened after that, right? So now we're going to be able to think about that as we start writing. Okay, so now taking all of those great ideas, what we saw from other peers, what we got as our feedback, how can I transform my image ideas into a written summary, right? So remember, we have to communicate the central idea in our own words. To include that, we have this checklist. So again, we want to make sure you state the central idea, you include significant details, that the details are in order. We know that Jane Goodall became a scientist at the end, right? Like she became a doctor and director of her program, but don't ruin the story, right? So don't say that at the beginning. Make sure you tell us that at the end. And again, free of bias. Do not give your opinion. Okay, so let's think of a little bit more about what these things mean. Okay, so significant details are key details, right? Who is in the story? So think about your characters. Am I putting the right amount of people in there? Who was relevant in the story that I should talk about, right? Who's the main character? Okay, where does it take place? You guys did an awesome job with the setting. So now make sure we put it into words. Where does it take place and why does that matter, right? Why do certain things matter? Okay, what happened in the story? Okay, beginning, middle, and end, main things that happen. Okay, another refresher on bias is you want to be fair, right? You can't be judging one thing over another. Now, I have this funny picture of a mushroom soup because an example I gave in class is that I personally don't like mushrooms. I like how they taste, but I don't really like them like whole like this. So if my grandmother knows that I don't like mushroom soup, but then my little cousin comes and we're having a family dinner, and grandma knows that my little cousin loves mushroom soup and she makes some for him, I'm going to think that grandma's using bias. She's being biased because she prefers the little cousin over me, right? So little cousin's going to get the favorite dish and I'm not going to get anything because I can't eat the mushroom soup, right? So that's one example when you have like favorites in a way, right? So don't use favoritism or bias when you're writing a summary. Okay, keep your checkmark list in mind. All right, and then in class, we tried out starting to draft out our summary. So I introduced us to our template. Everybody has access to this in today's post on Google Classroom. So you're able to write on it, write your name, the text that you're doing the summary on. And then this is an example of a topic sentence. We usually begin a summary by saying, in the story, in the text, and then you say the title, right? In this case, it's a memoir, right? And it's a piece from the memoir. So in the selection from her memoir, My Life with the Chimpanzees, Jane Goodall explains how. Okay, so make sure you tell us what was the central idea. What did she explain here? If you want to change the word explain to something else, like tell us or states, you can definitely do that. We usually try to include at least 3 details. So in the beginning here, we see she gives many examples of. Again, restate your central idea of what. For example, she says, so that's example 1. And again, use your own words. Don't copy from the text. Detail 2, the author also says. Finally, the author states. One more example here. Okay, and then we have a closing sentence to wrap it up. The author wants the audience to know that. Okay, so after setting examples of the main idea, what does she want us to know with this central idea? Okay, what's the point? What does she want us to know? Right, so this is just what we call a template. It's just something that's there. It's like the basics, and you help us fill it in. Again, if you prefer to reword some of these things, by all means, feel free to modify it so that it's your own copy. You can definitely do that. Okay, so tomorrow we will get to check out our draft and give some more feedback so that we can edit it. Okay, make sure you turn in your draft. Your draft consists of you completing everything here with the dots. That's equivalent to your blank, so that you can turn it in. And when we come back to class tomorrow, you'll have most of it there. And then maybe you get feedback like, well, detail 3 isn't as strong because it doesn't support the central idea, right? So maybe tomorrow, that's when you can make those changes. But today, make sure you at least have your draft and that you complete it during your independent practice time at the end of class. All right, that was a wrap. Just want to make a quick reminder that tonight is back to school night. It's kind of like a school open house, but it's happening on Zoom. So you will hear from all the staff and teachers, and parents can ask any questions there. All right, hope to see you there, and I look forward to seeing your draft today. Have a great day, guys.